For today's lesson, we're going to talk about ortho drawing, selection, and parts of a line. So we want to make sure that down here we have everything turned off except for the grid display and ortho drawing. And that's going to be this one right here, the fourth one. So the ortho is going to be turned on. So we're going to draw with ortho. Basically, if we click line, so go ahead and click line up at the top. Click that, and then we're going to click. So wherever I click is where it's going to be the anchor point. So I'm going to click right here with line. There we go. I'm going to click, and then now I can draw only in 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees. You can see it right there, and then 270. So it only draws in those directions. So let's go ahead and we're going to do 10 seconds of fury. Okay, so just go ahead and click as many times as you can. You got 5 seconds left. Clicking all over the place. And wherever I click, I can kind of make like a fake maze. And time. Okay, so everyone should be stopped right now. Everyone should be frozen. Okay, and then when I look at it, you can see only the lines that were drawn, or the only drawn lines, are either in 0, 90, 180, and 270. There were no angles. They're all sharp 90 degrees. And if you look at the symbol down here, the ortho mode, that's a 90 degree. And so it only draws in 90 degrees. Okay, which is convenient if all you're doing is drawing in 90 degrees, which is what we're going to be doing today. Okay, so when I'm done with that, I'm going to press escape. All right, look at your command line. Everything's been canceled. Now, so I've hit escape. I'm out of that. Now to select this, we're going to talk about selection. So if I click with my mouse, if I do a click and I drag to the left, I get a green rectangle. That green rectangle tells me a couple things. First of all, it's green, so it's easy to look at the color, but also the dots. If you see, it's dotted outline. Okay, so if I click and I go up to the left, if I click and I go down to the left is going to give me the green. If I click and go down to the right, or click and go up to the right, I get blue. The blue one, you can look at it, has solid lines. Okay? Solid lines, and it's also blue. So the difference between these, you're wondering. Okay? The difference between these is if I try to select something with the blue, only things that are entirely inside of it. Okay, see how it's a solid line? So that reminds me that anything that's entirely inside of it will be selected. So here, only those two lines are going to be selected. Okay, only those two pieces were selected because they're the only ones that were inside completely. Now, if I did close to that same thing, but I did it in green, everything that it touches is going to be selected. You might be thinking, like, when is that helpful? Well, it's helpful if you've got a whole lot of stuff in your drawing and it's got a lot of small little intricate pieces and you just want to select a little bit of it. Anything that's inside in this blue rectangle would be circled and selected, and anything in the green that's touched by any of that green space will be selected. So both of those are helpful. Now let's talk about parts of a line. Okay, so I'm going to come in, I'm going to zoom in a little bit to this one. Just look at one of your lines, and if you click on it, just click right on it, and it'll kind of hover over, and you can click on it. You've got three parts to the line. So you've got the end, the other end, and then you've got the middle. This end right here, so if I click it and I can move it to different locations. And notice the line still says anchored. Okay? If I wanted to move the entire line with the same shape, same size, just a different location, I click in the middle. If I click in the middle, I can move the whole thing and keep the same shape, same size, just a different location. And then here I can grab the corner and move that and bring it down. Next thing you know, it's changed shape, size, direction, everything. Okay, so those endpoints will help change this, all the parts to it, and the one in the middle, if you want to move it a certain distance, that's the one that you would use. Okay, so let's get to our instruction, our basic picture. So I'm going to select this entire thing, hit delete, double click on my mouse wheel to kind of get me back to a normal sized screen. And we're going to start drawing. So the first one we're going to do is that kind of backwards L. Okay, if you look at the instruction paper that we're going to look at, we're going to look at 0102 instruction, and it's got a backwards L. And so I'm just going to click kind of close to this area. I'm just going to click somewhere with the line tool. And it says specify first point. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tell it anything. I'm just going to point it in the direction I want, and then I'm just going to type in the distance. So right now, the first thing we want to do, we're going to the right. Okay, so we're going at 0 degrees, and if you look at the very top, it's in orange, it says 4. So that top distance goes all the way down to the bottom, and we need to go 4 in the right direction. So I'm just going to point it in the right and type in 4 and press enter. I'm going to add that over here. So I did a line, and I typed in, and I'm just going to type in what I type in. So I did 4 at 0 degrees. Okay, so I just pointed at 0 degrees, and I typed in 4. Next one, I went up 4. So I went 4 at 90 degrees. So 4 at 90 degrees. Remember, all you're typing in is the number. Just point it in that direction and just type the number. So next, if you look at the picture, I go to the left 1.5 and press enter. And that left is 180 degrees, so that's 1.5 at 180 degrees. Now, this is a little tricky. I got to do some backwards math. So I have a total distance from here to here as 4 inches, but then here to here is 1.75. So I don't have this number. I need to subtract to find it. So 4 minus 1.75 is going to give me 2.25. So I point it down, which is 270, 2.25. So I did 2.25 at 270 degrees. Okay, and then I point it to the left, the remaining distance. So if I already went 1.5 and the total needs to be 3, it's a distance of 2.5. So 2.5 at 180 degrees. Okay, and then if you remember yesterday, we learned how to close, and so we're just going to come down here and press close. And there it is. It closed for us. Okay, and so that's part 1 of our drawing. And so we're going to do the next one. I'm just going to move over just a little bit. I'm going to press line. I'm going to get kind of close to the same part. I'm just going to point it to the right. Here we go. So the right, we're going to go 5.5 at 0 degrees. 5.5 and press enter. I'll type that over here. 5.5 at 0 degrees. And then I went up, just looking at the picture. The picture tells me I'm going to go up 2.5 and press enter. 2.5 at 90 degrees. Okay, now I'm stuck where I have to do some math again. I have a total distance of 5.5, so that whole distance is 5.5, and the distance I have here is 2. So 5.5 minus 2 gives me 3.5. So I'm going to do 3.5. 3.5 at 180 degrees. Now we have a little bit of math to do. We know the total distance is 6. We've taken away 2, so we have 4, and then 2.5, which leaves me with 1.5 left over. Just a little bit of math, not too difficult. Type in 1.5, so we did 1.5 at 90 degrees. Now we need to come back, but we only come back what it tells us to, which is 2.5. So 2.5 at 0. And then I need to point it up 2. So 2 at 0 degrees. And then I need to go back the distance. And so if I only went out, and you could see on the drawing, this is 2.5, this is 2, so that's 4.5. So that means I need to go back 4.5. That's 4.5 at 180 degrees. And then now how do I close it? Just press close. Okay, so now we've done ortho drawing. Ortho drawing, we've talked about selection, we've talked about parts of a line, and now you are ready to do your 01, 02 assignment on your own.